Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca Auerhan, and thank you for joining Creating Your 90-Day Marketing Calendar. In today's conversation, we are going to walk through connecting with your prospect community, how to own your value proposition, and then how to implement a consistent marketing program. And we're going to walk through the 90-day calendar, so as you leave today's presentation, you will have this with you, and you should be able to start to implement that consistent marketing within your practice to help grow your 401k book of business. Also, before we get started, just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. On the top right-hand corner of your screen, there is a chat feature. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to type in your questions, and then we'll answer them in live time through today's webinar. And then at the end of the call, all attendees have been muted on entry, but we'll open up the phone line so you can ask any questions directly to us. So with that, thank you again so much for joining. So we have a saying here at 401k Marketing, which is marketing should be authentic and it should feel like a natural extension of who you are. Not contrived, but really the true you. And so we like to kind of begin some of our presentations with some inspirational quotes to help us get in the mood of being comfortable within our own skin. And one of my favorite quotes ever on this screen is, "You're being judged no matter what, so be who you want to be." And that's the truth in marketing. The more honest you are with your prospects, your clients, and your centers of influence, the more people will like you and the more people will want to work with you because their values and your values will both be aligned. Again, in our agenda, and today's a 30-minute presentation. We're usually pretty good at sticking right around that 30-minute mark. Hopefully we'll have about 5 minutes for Q&A at the end as well. So we're going to talk about connecting with your prospect community, owning your value prop, and then how to implement a consistent 90-day marketing program. A couple of background stats. Within our industry today, there are $4.4 trillion in retirement plan assets. Wow, $4.4 trillion. That is a lot. Total within the retirement planning industry, we have $24 trillion, and specifically within ERISA plans, there's $4.4 trillion. Also, there are 600,000 retirement plans in the United States. 95% of those plans are actually under $10 million. So a lot of folks, when they're asking us about where should you spend your time in prospecting, if you look at that 600,000, 95% of the plans are under 10 million, which is a very, very good marketplace to be in. And then right now, there are 300,000 advisors within the United States of America, yet only 6% focus on 401k plans. And that's roughly 18,000 advisors. This is a niche market. It is highly regulated and complex. We have ERISA, the Department of Labor, IRS. If you're part of an RIA, you have the SEC. If you're part of a broker-dealer, you have FINRA. And then, of course, we have the compliance teams at every office as well. So the reason I bring that up is it's a small number of advisors, 18,000, working with a large number of opportunities. So for everyone joining on today on the call, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to increase your knowledge so that way you can also prospect and grow your practice within the retirement plan space. All right, so show of hands or smiles. Who here has heard of the new conflict of interest rule? I have a feeling everyone on today's line has heard of it and been bombarded with emails and webinars and information, and we would be remiss if we didn't just bring it up briefly. So with the new conflict of interest rule, being a fiduciary is the new norm within our industry, which is interesting because from a marketing perspective, there was two camps. So there was a broker of record in the non-fiduciary capacity, and then there was a 321 or a 338 fiduciary advisor. And it was pretty easy to draw the line in the sand to say, okay, you can provide education or you can provide advice. Well, now with the new rules, for the most part, we expect the majority of advisors out there to operate under a fiduciary standard, which means that we have now leveled the playing field. And that calls for a clear value proposition that stands above the rest. In a recent exit poll, investors were asked, what is the difference between these advisors? And those investors had met with a series of 10 different advisor teams. And over 60% of the respondents in the exit poll shrugged their shoulders and said, they all sound the same to me. Wow. 6 out of 10 of your competitors all sound the same. Awesome. So if you have a clear value proposition that stands out above the rest, you're going to be part of the 4 out of 10 that are the true competition to work with those retirement plan sponsor clients. So where do you begin? What's step one when trying to enter and try to capture new clients within the retirement plan committee? And we like to say, own your backyard. A lot of advisors will contact us and they'll say, oh, I'm interested in working in the Chicago marketplace. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. You're located in Boston. Why would you like to work in the Chicago marketplace? And they'll say, you know, I have a friend or a family member, or I feel like there's not as many advisors within the Chicago area that focus on fiduciary plan governance and participant outcomes. And we kind of furrow our eyebrows and say, okay, well, what about owning your backyard? Let's start there. So how do you do it? If you take a look at your current book of business, find your average retirement plan client. What is that statistical average? And then what is your largest client? And that is your ideal prospect community. All day long, you can pick up plans in that marketplace, because as plan sponsors go, wow, that was great information. Do you mind if I chat with one of your existing clients about what it's like to engage and experience your service model? Well, if that's within your target market, your average and your largest, you can very easily supply them with names of your clients after, of course, asking for permission, so that way your clients can promote you and the value that you bring. I'll share a quick story. One of our, this gentleman reached out to us and said, Rebecca, oh my goodness, I finally got the meeting. It's a $50 million plan. I have been banging down the CEO's door for the last 2 years to try and get this meeting. Wow, $50 million. Okay. So the advisor sits down with the plan sponsor, the CEO, and the CEO goes, wow, this is good information. You definitely focus on the space. You have a fiduciary process, evidence, you have case studies, you've got results. I really like what you have to say. Now, the CEO, I have other C-suites that I have to answer to, as well as the board of directors. And again, I really like what you have to say. So if you could, I'd like to talk to 2 of your existing clients that are also $50 million, or approximately in that area. The advisor was so upset. He did not have another $50 million plan opportunity to share with him, or client to share with him. Instead, his largest plan was $10 million, and his second largest was $5 million. So the advisor went back to the CEO and said, well, here are 2 of our clients, a $10 million and a $5 million plan, and here's the information and the results and how we've worked with them and how we've improved their plan. And CEO kind of looked down and said, you know, I'm really sorry. I like what you have to say, and I think we could work together. But again, I've got a C-suite I have to answer to and a board of directors. And I'd really like to talk to someone who's of our size. So when we say find your ideal target market, your average and your largest. And if you think of it like this, so let's say the advisor, instead of that being a $50 million plan, if it was a $10 million plan. Well, if you recall in the story, the average advisor, the two largest plans of the advisor were $5 million and $10 million. That's reasonably close. So that advisor easily could have shared another $10 million plan and a $5 million plan, which again is within a window of probability. And that CEO probably would have said, yep, I'd like to sign on as a new client. That is what it means when owning your backyard and within your ideal target market. And now this advisor would have raised their average retirement plan assets under management, or raised their average retirement plan client, as well as now has two $10 million plans. So step one in creating your 90-day marketing calendar is uncovering your ideal target market. Step two is qualifying. Qualify your market. Is it better to have a list of 1,000 plan sponsors who are all strangers? Or is it better to have a list of 50 plan sponsors where you have a commonality across them, you like their industry, you enjoy the personalities that work in that industry, and you want to help them? Now, personally, I love yoga, do it pretty much every day. I love wine, drink a good amount of it. I enjoy Netflix, so TV. Well, that being said, if I, here in the San Diego marketplace, did a look for all vineyards, distilleries, breweries, yoga studios, health food studios, and maybe even production companies. So 3 areas that I really like. Chances are I'd find about 150 companies that would fit that mark. And then I'd start talking to those different companies. They all know each other. They're all friends. They go to the same events, hang out at the same parties, go to the same softball games. That's a way to own your backyard after you qualify your industry. So ask yourself, who do I like? Who do I want to hang out with? What makes me excited and passionate to talk about this? Everyone's going to have different industries that they like. Some gentlemen love golf. Awesome. Please go after the golf marketplace. Other folks like microbrews, so that's another cool area. There's so many different industries out there. One of the gentlemen who we work with is obsessed with soap. Soap. There are actually conventions for soap, and he goes to every one of them. And he talks to all the different manufacturers of soap. He loves it. So the reason I bring that up is think about the things in your life that bring you joy, and then reach out to those types of industries and have them be your ideal prospect community. And if anyone needs help with that, feel free to email us. So info@401k-marketing.com. Include your city or state, the amount of miles you're willing to drive. That's pretty important. We here in San Diego have horrendous traffic, so if the number of miles is probably around 30, and if there's clients who are in the Midwest, their miles might be 100. It would probably take us about the same amount of time to get to the different locations. So think about that from a realistic standpoint. How far are you willing to drive? And then what is your current ideal target market, your average and your largest, and then the preferred industries. So whether it's soap, yoga studios, breweries, or what makes you happy. We'll help you find those prospects and share that Excel list back with you so you can help to build your prospect community. All right, so earlier I mentioned that from an exit poll, 6 out of 10 investors shrugged their shoulders and said, I can't tell the difference between advisors. That's not good. Let's change that. And let's do that pretty quickly. If you answer this question, you will have a very strong and compelling retirement value proposition. And it's very simple. Why do you like working with retirement plans? Answer that one question from the heart, and you now have a value prop that is going to shine brighter than anyone else's out there today. Then, once you answer that question, take your phone, flip it upside down, video, record yourself, and just check to see what your face is doing when you're doing that. We practice everything here a million times at 401k Marketing in front of mirrors, video selfies, in front of ourselves as teams. Body language says a lot, so just check yourself out from a body language perspective. It's easier to do it in the safety and privacy of your own office than it is when you're sitting for the very first time in front of a new prospect. All right, so let's jump to creating your 90-day marketing calendar and how to implement a consistent marketing program. At the end of this call, you will receive this marketing calendar, and it's going to ask you questions. Marketing, by the way, is a team sport. You want to get your entire group into an office, do like bagels and coffee, Monday at 10 a.m. and start to ask these questions. What is our current marketing strategy? Where do we want to take our business over the next 1, 3, and 5 years? How much are we investing today in marketing? The average advisor invests 1.8% of their gross revenue. 1.8. Marketing leaders invest 2.4% of their gross revenue in marketing. And the Small Business Association of America recommends 8% in marketing. And then this is probably the most important question of all. How much time can we as a team reasonably spend on marketing? And earlier I said marketing is a team sport. So the more you can divide and conquer, get everyone working on the same page, you can accomplish a lot more with your marketing. All right, where do we begin? So the big three: Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If your business includes working with personal wealth management, Facebook is a wonderful platform to discuss how you can work with them. Also, let me just mention on Facebook, Facebook is a personal connection community. So if your office does like a client appreciation event, post photos, talk about that. If your office is writing a blog article and it's technical, that's not the place to post it. Facebook is not the place to post that. Instead, Twitter and LinkedIn, that's where you would share those pieces. LinkedIn and then hyperlink that through Twitter. Keep in mind, social media has some rules, unspoken rules behind the scenes. Facebook's a personal community. Twitter is where you sell items, and LinkedIn is a professional reading, writing, networking, engagement site. So when you're thinking about your social media strategy, just make sure that you're doing the right audience based on the right platform. So let's take a moment and talk about LinkedIn. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so let's take a moment and talk about LinkedIn. If you have a list of prospects, and again, we can help you cultivate that, one of the things that you can do, and this is on your 90-day marketing calendar, is to identify shortcuts to introductions. And if you notice here, we have 3 channels from the LinkedIn website. The first one says second You see this right up here in the top right-hand corner. You type in the plan administrator's name, hit enter, and then notice on their profile if there's a 2. If there is a 2, that means that you have a person in common. There is already an existing relationship between someone in your professional network and this plan administrator. So as you're trying to grow your 401k book of business, if you can lean on existing relationships, that'll be a wonderful way to jumpstart a face-to-face meeting to grow your business. So what you do in this instance is you notice those 2s, and we call those nuggets of gold here, because they don't happen very often, but when they do, it is a direct introduction to the decision maker at that company. You click on the 2, you click on this down arrow right here, and then you click Get Introduced. You'll see a list of different professionals that you have in your natural social media network that you're connected to who know Melissa Calkins. So if I send Tom a text message, Kim an email, or Pat a phone call, I can ask any one of them, hey guys, I noticed you're connected to Melissa Calkins. She is the plan administrator at this company, or hey, I was looking at this company's retirement plan. I noticed that you guys are connected. Can you tell me more about her? Would you be interested in introducing me? Most of the time, based on the strength of your relationship, people will say, okay, yeah, no problem. So when you go to your social media 90-day marketing calendar, the first step is to outline who are your prospects. That's why we spent the beginning of today's conversation talking about owning your backyard and working in your ideal marketplace. The next step is using and leveraging social media to shortcut your introduction process. The next is mail, email, and cold calling. And for anyone who would like to talk more about these 3 options, please welcome that. Mail today, our mailboxes are empty. Our inboxes are full, and everyone hates voicemail. So when you're trying to think of your 90-day marketing calendar, think of the mediums that you prefer to receive information and then market towards those mediums. Personally, I'm mail and email. If someone leaves me a voicemail, it's another to-do list on an already full calendar. Just think about it like that. Also, last year, less than 2% of new retirement plan business came from cold calling activities. Today's business owners, plan sponsors are smart, they're educated, they're addicted to Google. They are going to check out your website, read your blogs, do some online research before reaching out or responding to a cold call. Just keep that in mind when you're trying to uncover how you will target today's marketplace. The next one is relationship marketing. If at the end of today's call you take one thing away from this, it's please leverage your existing relationships to grow your practice. Last year, 51% of new client activity came from 2 sources. 26% came from centers of influence introductions, and 25% came from client referrals. 26% came from centers of influence introductions, and 25% from client referrals. So you already have the power within your existing book to effectively grow your practice. Leverage LinkedIn, leverage the social networks to see how people are connected, and then lean on those to open more doors. And then last but not least, I'll touch on brand ambassadors. Brand ambassadors are the people who love you. They will stand up at a podium and tell everyone how wonderful you are, the service that you provide, and the relationship that you bring to the people. Well, the next time you have a prospect and they go, hey, I really like what you have to say. Do you mind if I chat with one of your clients? Or maybe you offer that as an option. At the end of the meeting, you say, really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. Would you be open to speaking with one of our existing clients about their experience working with us? What that does is give your brand ambassadors the ability to promote you, to organically say and shout from the mountaintops how much they value every single thing that you do. So when you're reaching out to your COIs and your client referrals, when you get those names of prospects or potential new clients, give them the opportunity to chat with your brand ambassadors, and you will see your close ratio dramatically increase. Other ideas, and again, these are in the 90-day marketing calendar, which everyone on the call today will receive afterwards. It's the concept of doing video marketing, retargeting, and email automation. These are some of the more advanced marketing concepts out there. So if you're interested in doing video marketing, it's actually pretty cool. We feel that the internet is going more and more towards video media, so this is one of those ways that you can capitalize on that as a new trend. And then retargeting includes ads, banner ads, side panel ads, and it cookies people's internet, so that way as they are clicking from one screen to the next, your company is constantly front and center. Press releases, media pitches, and case studies. I am only going to chat about one of these today, case studies. With the conflict of interest rule, it's really about three things: the quality of your service, your experience, and results. Quality of your service, your existing experience, and results. So leverage case studies to show your prospects the results that you've done for your existing clients. Examples of that include working with a plan where they did not have auto enrollment and their average participation rate was 46%. And then after 18 months of you working with them, you instituted auto enrollment, and now the participation rate is 96%. Those numbers are pretty typical. Also, you can talk about investment diversification, auto escalation, back sweeping, re-enrollment programs. What have you done that's awesome that you can promote through a case study? And then share that with the media, because the retirement plan industry needs help. And as an expert, you can demonstrate what you've done to get America on track. And then this is the last one I'll share with you today. So the top retirement plan advisors in our country, they are consistently leveraging public mediums such as blogs to promote original thought leadership. So think about that the next time you're looking at your website and contemplating, should I start a blog? What's the point of a blog? That is what the majority of the top offices are doing, is they are taking their natural voice, cultivating it, and then promoting it within the space. So with that, we are at 11:29, and my apologies, I went a little bit over today. So on your 90-day marketing calendar, bring it to your team. Marketing is a team sport. Go through the questions on the first half, flip it over on the back, and walk through developing a prospect list, leveraging social media through LinkedIn, building out your COI network, posting on social media, and then working to create different marketing mediums that you can promote your skill set. This marketing media calendar has to do with the amount of time that your office can commit, and then over those 90 days, you check the box, and those boxes are written in pretty light, so if you want to put the date, that'll help keep everyone on track. Print it out, post it in an area of your company that's high traffic, assign people different tasks, so maybe color code different boxes. So if you've got green, blue, and yellow, and orange, and each team member has a different one, you can shade that in. So that way each person knows week by week what is their role in helping to grow and promote and market us as retirement plan experts in our community. So with that, what did we do today? We talked about defining and qualifying your prospect community, the importance of having a strong value proposition, and then a 90-day marketing calendar so that you can gain awareness through consistency and become your community's trusted retirement plan advisor voice. I'll leave you with one last thought before we open it up for some Q&A. In order to stand out, you have to be different. So thank you everyone so much for joining today's webinar presentation. This has been recorded. It will be posted on the site. If you would like a copy of it, please let me know and we'll gladly share it with you. And then be on the lookout in your inbox. You will have that 90-day calendar coming at you very soon. My name again is Rebecca Auerhahn. I'm the founder and CMO at 401k Marketing. We're a niche branding and marketing agency specifically for the retirement plan space. All we do is work with retirement plan experts to help them professionalize their brand image as well as their ongoing marketing content. So with that, I'm going to pause the recording session and then open up the phone lines for some Q&A. Thank you again, everyone, so much for joining.